Hey, what's up? It's Andy. I'm gonna talk about your number one weapon on the way to your body transformation glory, all right? And we're talking about the weight scale. And there's a lot of things that you might not know about your weight and how that could get in the way of your progress, all right? So let's get it started right away with some cons and pros about the weight scale, and then I'll get into applications at the end and how to work this in, okay? So right away, here we go. Some cons with the weight scale. The first one is, man, we have a lot of baggage and myths with our weight in our society, right? So we've all been trained our whole lives to worry about our weight, okay? But that's one thing we gotta reframe in our minds when we're using this tool for our body transformation, okay? It's not about how much you weigh, all right? It's what you look like, all right? So take, for instance, one of our superhero stars out there, Dwayne the Rock the Johnson, right? He's a stud, right? We admire what he looks like, but we don't really know how much he weighs, or if 10 pounds less or 10 pounds more than what he weighs is like a good thing or a bad thing, right? We don't know. We just know that he looks great. So keep that in mind, is that the weight that you are is not the primary metric to judge your progress, okay? Right, okay, good. So that's one main con. Another con that's super important to know is that, man, it can be discouraging what you weigh when you weigh yourself every day. So I recommend, as you progress through your journey here, that you do use the scale daily. I think it helps to use it daily or every other day, but hey, why not daily if you have it, right? But just know that most of your weight on your body has to do with like fluids. So when you step on the scale, it might be up 2 pounds, down 2 pounds, up 4 pounds, down 2 pounds, and that has nothing to do with what you visually look like, because we're mainly trying to target the body fat that's on top of our skin, okay? Well, not on top of our skin, you know what I'm talking about. The body fat that's covering up the muscles, okay? So keep that in mind, that this is really important, that it's going to be discouraging at times because it's going to bounce around. So for instance, so like for me at the gym, I weigh myself every day. I use a scale at the gym. Now you guys, I think all of the people with me want to have one at home. If you like the good stuff, I'll leave one in the link below. But you can weigh yourself wherever, right? But when I jump on the scale, I'm like, you know, what did I eat? I was on point, and then why am I like 2 pounds heavier? It's like, oh. So it can be discouraging, but it happens to everybody, all right? Happens to everybody. But just know that it's there and you're ready for it when it happens, all right? So let's get into some pros with the scale. Like, how is the scale great and a great tool, all right? The first one is you're gonna be able to track your relative change over time, okay? You just wanna have it to track the difference over time. So when you use an average amount of time, that's really what the weight is gonna be, all right? So that's really important to know. You're using averages because, like I said, your fluid intake can be higher one day or lower, and that can psych you out and make you think that it's a different weight, all right? So make sure you track it over time, all right? And also it's helpful too, when you take a weight, when you measure your weight, try to do it at the same time every day under the same circumstances. So what I do and other sports coaches recommend is take your weight in the morning when you get up. So you get up, you do your business, you take a pee, and then get on the scale. And then that's like almost always the same amount of variables every day, so that you could know that it's gonna be consistent, a consistent point in time to track you. So if you have the same circumstances every day, then you know that your averages are still gonna work out to the correct number, okay? Right, so that's what I do. I have a very similar constant routine every morning. So that's why I know that when I get to the gym, I can weigh myself before I need to drink a bunch of water. So that's when I weigh myself to know what I weigh. All right, cool. So then another pro and a good thing about the scale is it is one of the most accurate tools that you're gonna have, okay? So I know this because I have a pair of body fat calipers, which are pretty awesome and which I highly recommend as you start your journey, so you have a rough idea of how much body fat you have, okay? So I'm gonna leave a link in the description for the ones I got, and they're like 10 bucks, so there's no excuse not to know, all right? So the scale is a highly accurate tool, and the reason is because the body fat calipers, depending on where you measure on your skin, let's say we're taking a reading here, right? And which, let's see, do you take one here? We take one on the tricep, but whatever. So if you pinch the skin like this, and you pinch a little higher or over here, what's gonna happen is the reading can be off by, I mean, maybe even 25% off. If I had a 4mm reading, I might read 5, I might read 3, that's 25% off, okay? So the scale is never 25% off. It is exactly what you weigh, all right? Another thing too is, I did the hydrostatic body fat test about a year ago, and that's when you get underwater. And that requires you to, like have the same clothes on or be totally nude, and it requires you to exhale. And so depending on how much air you exhale out of your lungs as you go underwater, that can throw the reading off as well, okay? But the scale, man, if you do it like I said, and you take, an average in the same conditions every time, that thing is gonna be like to the gram or to the ounce, like accurate, okay? Good stuff, all right? So how does the scale now work into your program, right? So on your body transformation journey, we should be tracking, right, our macros every day, and we are gonna enter our weight too. So I love doing this because I've actually never done this in the past before, weighed myself every day and tracked my macros just until about a year ago. So I can tell you that it's really handy to see your weight over time, okay? So what you weigh on any given day doesn't matter so much. What matters is you can see trends happening. And trends can happen in a 1 or 2 or 3 day period, okay? But it is so handy to look back and say, all right, so I was eating at my budget at this time frame, right? And so what did that do to my weight, right? Or I need to calibrate how accurate I am with my tracking. And so was I accurate? Did my weight remain the same when I had the budget intake as, let's say, even throughout the week, okay? So that'll help you calibrate your macro tracking so that you're as accurate as possible, okay? And like I said in another video, it's best to have as much accuracy as you can right from the jump, right when you get started, so that you're not off by a lot later. It's the same as taking a shot with your arrow, and if you are accurate when you start, you're gonna be closer when you hit the mark. If you're off by a lot here, it's gonna be even further off, all right? So that's why you wanna have your accuracy high when you get started on your journey, all right? So there you go, there's the weight scale, and that is one of your best tools, all right? So I have another video about other weapons for your abs workout, all right? And I'll leave that in the description as well. So you guys, I can't wait to see what you guys are gonna do, all right? Thanks for sticking with me, and let's go.